Welcome back to Las Vegas, where we are here at WealthCon and get the opportunity to share the stage with Ryan Pineda, Ed Mylett, Sean Cannell, Dan Fleshman, and so many more. It's going to be absolutely amazing. We're going up at 11:30 today. You're not going to want to miss this. Let's go check it out. So let's see. Food type of guys. What's up, Justin?
Take a seat, let's 5 minutes. That's some real game. We've got Justin, Barry, Tim, Ross, Levi, Lascsak, and Ryan Pineda, the social media panel. Let's go.
All right, so excited to have you guys here. Did you guys like Jeremy's tactics right there with sales? It was good? So Jeremy went out and killed it. Today though, I want to talk about marketing, right? Because you can't sell anything if you don't have any prospects. So to me, social media has been the best way to get prospects. It's the exact way we got everyone here. It's how we continue to scale all the businesses. And so I'm excited to have these gentlemen with me today. Can you guys give a brief run through of who you are, what you've done so far?
So my name is Justin Berry. I'm the producer of the Wealthy production with Ryan Pineda. I'm also the head coach at Wealthy Creator and also the strategist for Pineda Media.
Woo! Hi!
Hey.
My name is Tim Ross, and I host a podcast called The Basement. The end.
My name is Levi Lascsak from Dallas, Texas, and I'm going to actually talk about the opposite of Jeremy, which is passive prospecting versus active prospecting.
There we go, there we go. So first off, let's talk about how social media has impacted your business financially. I'll start with you, Levi, since you started out as a realtor and you went straight to social media from the beginning.
Yeah, absolutely. So the thing is that I'm 43 now, I actually turned 44 this month, but I'd gotten up to a point at 41 when I had to start over during 2020. I was a financial planner with teachers at schools, and whenever the schools shut down during 2020, I found myself at 41 asking myself, well, how do I start over without starting over? And I was really kind of antisocial. If you're like me in that 40-year-old age range and above, you know, we didn't grow up with it. It wasn't there in high school. So we had this love-hate relationship. And so I decided if I'm going to attract business, especially during a time whenever people were still kind of apprehensive about meeting or shaking hands or, you know, getting in groups, I figured that would be through social media. So I just took time over the summer of 2020, instead of watching Tiger King, I decided to do some research and figure out, like, what's the next move. Real estate started to grow. I had no desire to be a real estate agent, but I have a lot of good friends that are in the real estate business, and so they kind of persuaded me. Plus, it was the only business that was growing during 2020, other than if you wanted to be a toilet paper salesman, right? So,
right.
Yeah. So that's where I started to do research. None of the platforms really set well with me and my personality at first, but whenever I discovered YouTube was a search engine, not a social platform, that made me a lot more comfortable with getting into that because, you know, I wasn't a good real estate agent. I had zero experience, but I've lived in Dallas, Texas for 20 plus years. So I know Dallas, and if I could convey that message or even just kind of like be the tour guide of Dallas, and, you know, that's what I knew, then I didn't have to know how to write contracts or how to, you know, open doors or anything like that. So that's what got me started researching that, and I just went 100% on YouTube because little piece of advice if you're starting out, in my opinion, if you try to get into 5 platforms at once, you're probably going to end up putting 20% effort across 5 different platforms. Choose one platform, go all in as deep as possible. It'll make it easier down the road to branch off into other platforms.
Yeah, so in your business though, I mean, that first year, what did you make as a real estate agent from YouTube?
So in our very first year, we ended up generating about 690 leads, and that we closed about 33.5 million in production and over $1 million in commissions in the first year. By the second year, that more than doubled. We did 86.2 million, and we did about 2.3 million in commissions. And this year so far, even in a market with 7% interest rates, we've already broken over $1 million in commissions this year, and that's all been 100% inbound from the channel. We've never cold called, door knocked, and I started like Jeremy, you know, in my early 20s. One of my first jobs was door knocking. And that's where the other point was, I was just tired of prospecting. I was tired of chasing after people. So YouTube's an attraction-based model to where if you provide the content, you do the selling on camera, you can reach a much broader audience. And then the leads are inbound. People call us and want to do business with us. The relationship is already intact whenever they reach out.
I love it. Give Levi a round of applause. So, Tim, you were a pastor for many years.
Yep.
You decided to go full-time into podcasting. How's that been?
It's been quite the ride. We launched the podcast July 6th of 2022. We wound up with 25,000 subscribers in 3.5 weeks. And now we have close to 290,000 in 15 months.
It's crazy.
Yeah.
It's absolutely crazy. And I think too, in the short amount of time, like, I mean, obviously you're a pastor, not making a ton of money. Like, how has it been just now going into this other side of the game? I mean, you're still having impact and doing the things you want to do,
Yep.
but now you're having to go build this business around it.
Yeah, so the money's different. The money's very, very different. So when you're relying on a board in a nonprofit to present the value in a nonprofit organization, in a church, it's one thing. It's another thing when the market is telling you how valuable your content is. Mm-hmm. So within, 4 months, I think our Google checks from YouTube were about 30 grand a month.
Yeah.
And that presents you with different opportunities, right? Your hands are kind of tied in nonprofit, whereas in for-profit, you can now leverage the business and do more. So we go from taking the basement, which is a safe space for people to give the gift of their vulnerability, to now presenting to the market a platform. Like we've developed our own app. It launches in the fall, next month actually, and it already has a market valuation of $10 million. So we already have investors on the inside of it, and now we don't have to rely on YouTube's algorithm or censorship to communicate the messages that we want to communicate.
Yeah, I love it. Give Tim a round of applause, man. So Justin, what have you seen? Obviously you work within all of our companies, but you're advising a lot of people in Pineda Media and Wealthy Creator. It's actually how we met Levi a year ago. So it's cool to see, some of these guys' businesses grow really big. What have you seen?
No, absolutely. I've seen when people actually buy in to understanding that there are strategies behind what you're doing on the platforms, that it will work for your business. So I've creators like Levi who just explained how he's been able to get so many leads to his platform. That's not like a rare case, right? We've had testimonial after testimonial of people doing the exact same thing. For example, there's a guy in California, the Rich Summers, right? It's the Rich Report. He started his podcast. He took some strategy from us, and just a couple weeks ago, I see episodes with Grant Cardone. Right, it gets him in the room, which also gets him business deals and gets him in places that he wouldn't other had if he hadn't shared his word. So it's been awesome to see it over and over again happen.
Yeah.
As far as our companies, right, everybody's here because they probably saw a piece of social media. And so when you talk about how it's able to generate revenue for you, I mean, you can instantly increase your revenue by just posting something once a day.
Yeah. I mean, for me, to speak on the company, the last 3 years, it's been just astronomical growth. I went from a guy who made all of his income flipping houses to now throwing these events and having different businesses and services and education. And, we're raising capital. We've been able to buy $10 million plus of apartments. And, literally, I haven't had to do any of the old ways of how you go about it, right? Like, Tim, you got a $10 million valuation on your company. How'd you raise the money?
It was all through social media.
Yeah.
The investors literally saw the brand, believed in the brand, and that's why they wanted to put into it. There was nothing else to show them except what was already, we had proof of concept.
Yeah.
And so aggregating other voices of vulnerability into that particular platform is why they have decided to put their money where their emotions are.
Well, and I think the other thing that's interesting about social media is, obviously you can stay all digital, but when you use it to funnel people into a physical room as well, like WealthCon, then it brings both of those worlds together. And you're able to see firsthand what's actually going on and how you can make a difference. So I love that. I'll go back to you, Justin. As far as strategy goes with social media, like what is our strategy? What's our philosophy?
But there's one thing that we like to preach, and it's just 3 words. And I gave this to the MVP people yesterday. It's know, like, and trust. And what you're seeing amongst the 3 people that I'm sitting next to is people know them, people like them, people trust them. So when you're talking about people presenting deals and giving, investors investing in your company, it's because somehow they have gained the trust of the people that are watching. Our strategy is no different, right? My goal is to make sure that everybody knows Ryan, everybody likes him, and everybody trusts. And I don't want to get it confused with the word like. It doesn't mean that you have to like everything that he's doing or everything about him. Whether you leave a negative comment or a positive comment, I appreciate them all. But like means that they are seeing something that is either relatable, that they can either be against or for. And so we work on that really hard. One really, unique way that we're doing it specifically is going all in on long form. I told people yesterday that God gave everybody a special gift, a device that they can use, and that is the gift of sharing words. It's the closest way that you can get to oneness with someone. Everybody that you love, everybody that you have a relationship with, you get to oneness with them by sharing words. My brother here, I didn't know him at all. I met him a few months ago when he came in for the podcast. But I knew one thing about him because he shared some words on his podcast. He mentioned his sons named Noah and Nathan. And I have 2 sons named Noah and Nathan. Immediately, I felt something with him that made me watch the rest of that episode. But that is what I mean by the sharing of words. And so we're all in on it, specifically long form and podcasting. I don't know if we have the still available to show, but if we do, there's some of our stats, and what it shows is an extended amount of watch hours, and that's how much time people are spending with us from week to week, and I believe it's showing a 90-day number. Most people look at the views. I think it's 10 million views. They look at the money, where it's like $40,000 or something like that. All that doesn't really matter to us when it comes to our strategy. What we're focused on the most are those 400,000 watch hours that we receive. The longer you get to stay with us and spend time with us, the better chance we have of converting you and making you a part of the community.
Yeah, and I think to put it in perspective, a lot of people get wrapped up in the YouTube AdSense and stuff like that. But when you have back-end businesses, that kind of becomes irrelevant. Like I'll make more in 1 hour here than what YouTube will pay me. But with the watch time, like Justin's saying, the way that we used to prospect back in the day was that we had to spend time with somebody. So you'll spend time with somebody by either going to coffee, going to lunch, taking them to dinner, and you might get to spend an hour with them. And guess what? You can develop somewhat of a relationship in an hour, but there's only so much you can do. Think about this. People just spent 400,000 hours with me in the last 90 days. To put that in perspective, that is almost 50 years straight, 24/7. 50 years people have spent with me in the last 90 days. So if you want to figure out how you scale and build relationships and build trust, the tool is right there. And short form and everything I love, but you can't build trust and relationships with short form. The only way is long form. And that's exactly what you did too, Tim, right?
Yeah, absolutely. As you were talking about those numbers, I was ready to jump out of my skin because our podcast is literally a part of people's daily life now. People clean their house to my voice. People take their commute to work to my voice. People work out to my voice. So I'm not worried about when or where they're actually consuming the content. All I know is that I'm a part of their lifestyle now. And when you become a part of their lifestyle, that's where that trust is earned. And that's where your community is formed. There is a vast difference between a crowd, an audience, and a community. And most people just look at, oh my goodness, 10 million views. That's passive, right? Some people could have been in there for 2 minutes, right? But you want to find out who is your community. I want Swifties. Yeah, right. I want Timmys. I want Timmys. I want the Bayhive, right? Like I'm looking for the people that are a part of our community because those are the people that actually spread your brand. Yeah. Whether it's on the feet, whether it's a shirt they buy, whether it's the words that they say, they start repeating what you say. That's how you build your community.
Yeah, and I think Taylor Swift and all these celebrities are great examples because obviously she has such a big following, and her new tour, I know for a fact, did over $1 billion in revenue. One tour. And she's gonna be doing tours for many, many years to come.
Beyonce's did 4.5 billion. The only equivalent it was to was the 2008 Beijing Olympics. So Beyonce is the Olympics.
That's crazy. That's crazy. So I know obviously we're talking about YouTube. Levi, you started out with that. But the real question for most entrepreneurs is how much time does it actually take to do social media? Because we're over here trying to run real businesses and we got employees, we got day-to-day fires and problems. So most people have the excuse of, I don't have enough time. How many of you have made that excuse? Be real. I don't have enough time to create content, right? How much time, Levi, are you spending?
So, do we have any real estate agents in the room? I can't see. You gotta say hi.
Yeah.
So, I mean, the thing is that everybody loves that book, The 4-Hour Work Week. Well, to me, video is the true 4-hour work week, really, and probably even less than that. Maybe 2 hours, maybe even less than that I spend on actually making video. And so, if you're familiar with the cash flow quadrant, the whole goal is to get from the left side to the right side. Yeah. And so, the thing is that as far as this type of content that you're doing, this compounds time. Yeah. And so, if you invest in stocks, real estate, or crypto, your number one question usually back to yourself is, hey, what's going to be the return on my investment? Yeah. Well, we should be asking that same question. If time is the most valuable resource, we should be asking, what's the return on my time if I'm going to invest it in something? And video is the best thing you can do, and that's why I love YouTube, is because of these watch hours. So whenever you invest in that, that's not just making time, that is compounding your time. And I like to, really paint the picture for agents because most of them will say to be successful over a long period of time, you have to prospect 2 hours a day, at least 5 days a week. Well, our channel last year was only watched 104,600 hours, not compared to this, but still, if you broke that down and divided 2 hours of prospecting a day to that's equivalent in 1 year. Would take a normal agent 143 years to equivalent that watch time. So this is a compounded time, but the thing is that I really don't spend a lot of time because now I'm a lot more efficient. Anything you do in the beginning is always going to be awkward. Yep. It's going to be more difficult, and it's going to take you longer.
Absolutely.
So the more reps, the more muscle memory you get, it becomes a lot easier. You become more efficient, and so now it's the least amount of time I spend in my business is making video, but it's the biggest return.
Yeah, and I like what you said, the time compounds. You're always looking for things that have leverage. Yeah. And so it's like, I prospected for 50 years the last 90 days. Yeah. That's what I did. That's crazy that we are able to do that. So Tim, how much time do you spend?
So I have basically a 7-hour work week, and it's all on Monday.
And podcasting is your main career.
That's my main career.
Like you're not running these businesses everyone else is doing. Mm-hmm. And so what do you do with the rest of your life, dude?
I come here to sit on this couch.
The 7-hour work week.
Because my work week was over on Monday, so I was like,
we're gonna hang out in Dallas, right?
Yeah, exactly. He's about to be on the podcast. We just met backstage.
We're neighbors.
We're neighbors.
Yeah, you're both in Dallas. But by the way, Tim is gonna be leading the worship service tomorrow morning at 8:30. So,
hey, y'all should come even if you don't believe in God. I promise you. If you're an atheist, you should come anyway. Because I promise you're going to get something. And you can go out and still not believe in nothing and be fired up for whatever you're going to do with your life. So come through.
Yep. Don't be late like this morning, because we're starting that early at 8:30 tomorrow.
Yeah.
Okay? And we're starting like a full-on band. Like it's going to be nuts. But Justin, how much time are we seeing? Well, I'll put it in the perspective. How much time do you spend doing all the stuff we got to do behind the scenes?
Well, I'm not done on Monday.
Yeah.
Nor am I done after the 8 hours at the office.
Yeah.
Right? Like my wife's here somewhere, and we're still trying to figure out how to make this schedule thing work because I do spend a lot of time on it. Granted, I also have a team of 8 underneath me that assist with everything that we do, and they're full-time completely, and they're dedicated to building this kingdom that we're trying to build. And so I'm spending a lot of time, Ryan, but my goal, and even saying that, my goal is for you not to have to. right? What's key to this whole thing working and working well is that he can focus on bigger money problems, and I can focus on the social media. And so if I'm spending, 12 hours a day reviewing videos or looking over what the team has going on, that's enough for him to be like, okay, it's good, I trust you, you have it going, and I can take care of everything else that's going to help grow the business.
Absolutely. Yep. Give him a round of applause for that. For me, I can say, obviously it's adjusted over the years as I've, changed different styles and everything. But at this point, I don't know. What do you think I spend filming?
I think total, I would say maybe 6 to 8 hours a week.
Yeah, I'm on that Tim Ross life, but I still got way more to do afterwards.
Yeah.
But it's not like super labor intensive. And to put it in perspective, because we got the right systems, we put out 50 pieces of content a day on 7 hours of work a week. And the best part about our way of doing it is usually my content is me podcasting and interviewing. I've interviewed all these guys on the podcast. I've interviewed Grant Cardone and Patrick Bet-David and the Hormozis and Cody Sanchez and all these people. So I actually just go get to learn and make content. It's like the best of both worlds. I don't even feel like I'm actually having to work. I'm getting a one-on-one training session. So as we wrap up here, last question I'm gonna ask you guys, because most people are wondering this. How much are you spending to be able to produce all this stuff? Levi, what are you guys spending a month?
Not as much as you, so
Yeah.
we want to work up to that. Probably all in all, the thing is that as a real estate agent here, if you're not partnering with lenders and title companies and things like this, you think you don't have a budget. Our lender probably doesn't want me to say this, and this is all legal, he contributes about $22,000 a month to our business. Now, we've done all this organic without any ad spend. And so, most lenders will say, hey, I'll pitch in on ad spend. But we said, well, we're not running ads. So can you help out with maybe some video editing, or even, Alex, our videographer here, he cost a lot of money.
Yeah.
But the lender splits that with us, because guess what? He gets Alex on demand, which is usually like once a week, maybe once every 2 weeks. He doesn't need them, he'll do some reels with them, and otherwise we get them, but he splits half that cost with us. So we have a full-time videographer because we're not fronting that whole bill. So you can find different ways. Title companies, they all want to spend money if it can be mutually beneficial and you can refer business back to them. And if you're not in real estate, whatever business you're in, find the partners that can help contribute to that. But otherwise, you can do a lot of this on your own, especially with AI and everything now. There's editing tools out there, all types of software that you can implement if you take the time to learn that you could do all of this on almost zero cost. But for us, it's a couple of $1,000 a month, really. With the operation we have now. But when I started out, I did everything on an iPhone 11 Pro. I had a $20 selfie stick. Chrissy, who's here with us, I found her originally on Fiverr like 5 years ago, and she edited videos for me for $400 a month. And that was it. iPhone footage and editing, and that was it. That's all we started with. So that's as little as you can start with.
Awesome. Tim, what do you guys spend?
So what we spend now, I had to do the math because y'all can convert hours into years, and I need a calculator. So we when we started out, I was paying 16 grand every 90 days.
It's a $5 grand a month-ish.
$5 grand a month, thank you.
Yep, I'll do
and
Yep.
I did the
That's
math.
15.
I did the math, and now so it's 15 grand a month to do what we do.
Now.
But
Okay.
the context I want to give y'all is that I'm an introvert, and I was not on social media prior to March of 2020. So I could have never come back on social media and been fine with my life. And this is for all the people that are like, I don't want to do it, that's not really me. It doesn't have to be you. The money is you. You need the money, right? So this doesn't have to be you at all. It's about the money. And so 15 grand a month covers social media, covers all the production. That's why I get to, because I have these people, I have the Justins that are they're still working. I'm free to be here and to give my brain, because everything I do is from the neck up. Like I think and then I speak and then I'm done. Juliet does everything else, right? She is the workhorse in our house. But I want all the introverts in here and all the shy people that are like, that's not really me. Make it you.
Yep.
And then after, go lay down somewhere. Right? After you're exhausted and you're like, oh my God, I can't do it anymore, go lay down. But I'm telling you, that money's gonna come, and you don't need a lot to start with. You go look at some of the best YouTube viewed stuff. It is raggedy. Nobody is looking for highly produced, highly glossed over. No, they just want authenticity and vulnerability. You give them that, and whatever field you're in, money will come to you.
Yeah.
Love it. Love it. Yeah, give a round of applause for that. Justin, what are we seeing? I'll let Justin in. My budget has fluctuated over the years, but you know, I started off spending $3 grand a month. That was it. I was spending $3 grand a month. I got my own videographer. I made all my own reels and TikToks. Agencies and things like Pineda Media did not exist back then. And I think the cool thing is all of us too started after 2020. It's not like we did this, you know, for the last 10 years. Like, you can blow up very quickly. But every year or every month I would reevaluate the numbers and I'd be like, all right, this is working. Let's add more. So I went from $3 grand to $5 grand to $10 grand to $20 grand. You know, now we spend about $50 grand a month on content. But the ROI is insane. I would spend more if I could. If there was a way to do it, I would do it. It's just, we're kind of like doing almost everything humanly possible.
All right, you all heard it.
Yep.
He said he'll spend more.
As long as I can see the ROI.
Yeah, it's being recorded.
But obviously, like, that's an intimidating number. Like, our clients at Pineda Media and Wealthy Creator, what are you seeing them spend?
So, you know, creator right now, for $3K, you get full education on what you need to be doing to be a better creator and understanding strategy.
Yep.
Pineda Media, if you're one of those individuals, and I can't see you, but I'm sure if I ask, there'll be a lot of hands of individuals that's like, I just want you to do it for me. That's available.
Yeah.
Pineda Media does allow that, and it's about, what, $7,500, you know, to get it done, to get it complete. They even have something so good as what's called the brand blueprint that will help you even create the brand. So essentially, you're going to them and they're doing everything from start to finish for you. That didn't exist when I first got into the game, right? Like, in other words, I wouldn't probably be here. But we do have that solution, and so for individuals that are like kind of second guessing or unsure what exactly it is that they want to do, that is available to them.
Yeah, and I would just say a budget for you guys who are just getting started, anywhere from $3,000 to $10,000 will get you more than 99% of people. Okay, you don't need to compete with the guys spending $50,000 or the guys spending $25,000. Like, that's once you've already passed that level. But for $3 to $10 grand a month, you're going to destroy the competition because they're just not willing to spend it.
You'll be in the top 5% with just 3
Yeah.
to 10K.
You can even cut that in half. I mean, our editor for our main channel right now is $1,600 a month. That's $10 an hour from the Philippines. Does amazing work. And you could shoot everything with an iPhone, have one editor. I've never edited a single video, by the way. I knew that wasn't my interest. I would have quit after one video, that's for sure. So I always had an editing budget from the beginning versus a marketing budget, because you could do all of this, you know, without spending any money on ads. But you got to have that editing budget. And again, I started out with $400 a month, and that's only graduated to 16.